You walk into a room and meet someone for the first time. They smile, shake your hand, and say all the right things. Everything looks normal on the surface, polite, predictable, but something inside you quietly asks a deeper question: who are you really? Most people don't get manipulated because they're weak. They get manipulated because they rush to judge. They mistake comfort for safety. They assume friendliness means honesty. They trust the surface too quickly and ignore what happens underneath. Marcus Aurelius understood this well. He didn't study people to control them. He studied people so they couldn't control him. Tonight, you're not learning how to dominate conversations or expose lies. You're learning how to stay calm while others reveal themselves. You're learning how to read anyone instantly, not by suspicion, but by clarity. Calm, grounded, impossible to deceive. Part 1. Stoic Frame. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that we suffer more from our judgments than from events themselves. That single sentence explains why most people misread others. They don't observe. They react. They don't see. They interpret too quickly. Reading people isn't about catching lies. It's about preventing your emotions from running ahead of your reason. When emotions lead, judgment becomes reckless. When reason leads, clarity follows naturally. The Stoic advantage is simple. You don't need certainty. You don't need to label people quickly. You need clarity. Clarity keeps you calm. Calm keeps you patient. And patience gives people enough space to show who they really are. Rule of three experts often say, communication isn't really about words, meaning leaks through tone, posture, facial expression, timing, and silence. But here's the mistake most people make. They grab one signal and build an entire story around it. One smile becomes trust. One pause becomes guilt. One confident sentence becomes authority. A Stoic never reads a single sign. A Stoic watches patterns. Patterns across moments. Patterns under pressure. Patterns when someone is relaxed and patterns when they're challenged. One signal can mislead you. Patterns rarely do. If you remember only one rule, remember this: never decide who someone is based on one moment. Decide based on repeated behavior across different situations. Part 2. Eye contact. Eye contact is powerful but deeply misunderstood. Too little eye contact can mean fear, insecurity, or nervousness, but it can also mean respect, cultural habit, or deep concentration. Too much eye contact can mean confidence, but it can also mean dominance, performance, or control. The mistake is assuming intensity equals honesty. Predators stare. Leaders observe. Leaders adjust their gaze naturally. The key is not how strong the eye contact is. It's how consistent and flexible it remains as the situation changes. Watch whether eye contact tightens under pressure or softens with comfort. That shift tells you more than the stare itself. Blink rate. When someone suddenly blinks faster, their nervous system is speaking. This doesn't automatically mean lying. In real life, it usually means pressure. Pressure from being evaluated. Pressure from uncertainty. Pressure from wanting approval or fearing judgment. Blink rate increases when cognitive load increases. When someone is thinking harder than usual, their body reacts. Stress is harder to control than words. That's why stress reveals more than deception ever will. Instead of asking, are they lying? Ask, why are they stressed right now? Eyebrows. Eyebrows react faster than conscious thought. They lift in surprise, concern, or discomfort before the mind has time to explain itself. If someone raises their eyebrows without a clear reason, the body has reacted before the story's ready. You'll often see this when someone hears information they didn't expect, or when a question touches something personal. In these moments, the body confesses before the mind prepares its defense. A Stoic notices these micro-reactions without interrupting the flow of conversation. Observation works best when it's silent. Part 3. Smile. The mouth can lie. The eyes rarely do. A polite smile stays shallow. It moves the lips but leaves the rest of the face unchanged. A real smile softens the entire expression. The muscles around the eyes relax naturally. People often smile to hide discomfort, to be agreeable, or to avoid conflict. That's why the better question isn't, are they smiling, but are they relaxed while smiling? Relaxation is much harder to fake than happiness. Watch whether the smile fades quickly under pressure or stays natural across time. Stoic pause. This is where most people rush, but a Stoic pauses. Pause for a moment yourself. Think of someone you feel tense around, someone who makes your shoulders tighten or your breathing change. Notice what your body does when they enter the room. Your body often senses shifts before your mind explains them. Reading others always starts with awareness of yourself. If you're tense, distracted, or emotionally reactive, your perception becomes unreliable. Calm is not passivity. Calm is clarity. Jaw and tension. A clenched jaw is silent resistance. Even when the words sound calm, tension tells another story. Discomfort often lives where language refuses to go. People can control what they say far better than they can control muscle tension. Watch the jaw during difficult topics. Does it tighten? Does it relax when the subject changes? These shifts often reveal emotional friction that words try to hide. Silence in this sense is still information. Part 4. Micropause. When a question is simple but the pause before answering is long, something is being protected, not always the truth. Sometimes identity, sometimes reputation, sometimes emotional safety. A Stoic doesn't rush to fill silence. Silence creates pressure, and pressure reveals priorities. Observation doesn't require confrontation. Let the pause do the work. Tone words explain, tone confesses. Someone can say I'm fine in a voice filled with tightness, impatience, or strain. That mismatch matters. Emotional truth often lives in how something is said, not in what is said. Train yourself to notice shifts in tone when topics change. Does the voice drop? Does it sharpen? Does it slow down? These changes often signal emotional weight long before words admit it. Speech speed. Fast speech can mean anxiety, excitement, or a desire to control the conversation. Slow speech can mean confidence, certainty, or emotional distance. The key is not comparing people to others, but comparing them to themselves. Always ask, is this faster or slower than their normal pace? Sudden changes in speed often matter more than the speed itself. Part 5. Stoic pause. Here's the danger most people miss. If you are nervous, everything looks suspicious. Anxiety distorts perception. Calm sharpens it. That's why Stoics train composure first before trying to read anyone else. You cannot see clearly when your own emotions are loud. The calmer you are, the more clearly others reveal themselves. Feet. The face is trained. The feet are honest. If someone's feet point toward the exit, their body wants to leave even if their mouth stays polite. Feet often reveal intention before awareness catches up. This is especially useful in group settings, meetings, or negotiations. People may stay verbally engaged while their feet quietly signal withdrawal. No one practices foot deception. Leaning in isn't just interest, it's respect. People lean toward those they trust, value, or feel safe with. Leaning away often signals discomfort, fatigue, or emotional withdrawal. Watch for changes. Someone who starts leaning away during certain topics is giving you information even if their words remain agreeable. Distance speaks even when words don't. Part 6. Barriers. Barriers tell you something words won't. Crossed arms. A bag held tight. An object placed between you and them. These aren't random habits, they're emotional walls. The mistake is trying to break them. Pressure creates resistance. Safety creates openness. A Stoic doesn't force access. He creates conditions where defenses lower naturally. Hands. Hands often reveal intention before words do. Open hands suggest openness and cooperation. Hidden hands suggest caution, not rejection. And this matters because caution is often mistaken for disinterest or hostility. Sometimes caution is intelligence. Sometimes it's self-protection. A Stoic respects caution instead of punishing it. Stoic pause. The goal isn't to guess perfectly. The goal is to remain unmoved by uncertainty. Calm is power. Calm keeps your perception clean. Calm prevents overreaction and false conclusions. Part 7. Mirroring. When someone unconsciously mirrors your posture, rhythm, or gestures, rapport is forming. This usually happens without awareness. Harmony can't be faked for long. The body doesn't lie when it relaxes. Mirroring signals comfort, alignment, and psychological safety. Freeze response. Sometimes movement suddenly stops. Less blinking, less shifting, less expression. This is the freeze response. The body is bracing for threat, judgment, or emotional overload. In moments like this, slow down. Speed becomes aggression when someone feels cornered. Space restores safety. Safety restores truth. How they speak about others. Listen carefully to how people speak about others. Patterns reveal character, not stories. Complaints reveal values. Praise reveals priorities. How someone speaks when others aren't present is often rehearsal for how they'll treat you later. Part 8. Alignment over charisma. Charisma may impress, but character predicts. Charisma is a spotlight. Character is a rhythm. One attracts attention. The other determines outcomes. A Stoic always chooses alignment over charm, consistency over performance, depth over display. Stoic closing, Marcus Aurelius didn't chase certainty. He chased clarity. Clarity keeps you calm, calm keeps you patient, and patience keeps you free. Now tell me, when you meet someone new, which signal do you trust most? Eyes, voice, or posture? Comment one word: clarity. And if you're building a stronger mind for 2026, subscribe to Making Life Better, not for motivation, but for mastery.